If you're someone who travels solo and are looking for filming equipment to get shots like this, or this, well then this video was meant to find you. And I believe that I'm in the very least a medium level expert, as I have experimented with quite a few different gadgets to get to my current setups. And so in today's video, I'm going to be outlining 3 different setups for you to choose from depending on your budget or requirements. Oh, and by the way, hi, I'm Steve from the Fat Life Project. Welcome back to my channel that is full of travel vlogs and guides that help you navigate your way through cities around the world. If you're a subscriber though, today's video is going to be slightly different and is part of my new series where I give you a more behind the scenes look into not only how I make content, but also occasionally a little about myself. Not to worry if this is not your vibe, as I will still be uploading those travel guides that you and I love so much. In fact, I've got some amazing content planned for you in my next upload. And so without further ado, let's get into it. The crux of any good setup is a good camera, and that's how we're gonna start. And I have used almost everything around the sun, from my iPhone to a Sony ZV1, which is what I'm filming to talk to you right now, to a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I even gave into all that marketing last year and bought myself an Insta360. But not all of them worked out. So which one should you get? Let me start with the ones that just did not pan out for me. I've previously owned a DJI Action 2. I have since sold it, which is why I don't have it here to show you. First of all, if you own one and are happy with it, amazing. I think you should continue using that. But for me, I just could not get it to work. I didn't like the footage it captured. Even when I set it to 4K, the camera overheated when I had it on for too long, and the battery did not last as long as I would have liked. I actually sold it so I could justify getting the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which we will be talking about shortly. But talking about footage that I didn't like, I also bought myself an Insta360 camera last year during Christmas. If you remember, it was being advertised everywhere and I gave into it. Again, if this camera has worked out for you, amazing. I think you should keep using it. I will say that it's definitely a fantastic size for traveling, but for me, I just could not get it to work. I bought it thinking that it would be fantastic for POV shots, but I found that I again did not like the quality of the footage that came out even when I had it set to 4K. And whilst it claims to have stabilization qualities inside, I think I would still have to get a gimbal to get this to work properly when I'm vlogging. And so with the ones that didn't work out of the way, let's now talk about the ones that worked. And I'm just going to be straight up and tell you that your iPhone is more capable than you think it is. A lot of my content over on Instagram and TikTok, and even some of my earlier long-form YouTube videos, were actually shot on an iPhone. If you're shooting vertical footage in a 9:16, make sure you have it set to HD at 30 bps. And if you're shooting horizontal footage for YouTube, aka at 16:9, I would highly recommend you set it to 4K if your phone memory allows for it. And to be honest, your iPhone would be sufficient for most short form content, but if you're planning to shoot long form content, vlogging style content, or just want to up the ante in the quality of your videos, I would highly recommend the following 2 accessories. And you never want to be at the mercy of the lighting of whatever venue that you're going to be at, and so I would highly recommend getting one of these mobile lights. And I actually have a few different ones, but my preference is for this one from Big Softy that I got off Amazon. Yes, it's got the different light settings, different brightness levels, but the main reason why I like it is because it clips on. Let me see if I can do this. Clips onto my phone like so, leaving my other hand free to move whatever object that I'm filming around, which is super important if you're traveling solo. And the light and phone would be what you would need for most situations, but if you're planning to do, again, more long form or vlogging style content when you're on the go, I would highly recommend getting one of these, which is a phone gimbal. I think I got it for $199, and all of my initial Taipei night market content was shot on this and an iPhone. You simply clip this little clip onto your phone, press this little button here, and you're good to go. What this gimbal does is essentially stabilize your footage so that it doesn't shake around when you're walking and filming. Another one of my favorite features of this gimbal is that it will shoot in vertical footage when it's like this. And if you want to shoot horizontal footage, again for YouTube, all you need to do is to press this little button here and it does this. Honestly, if you're just someone looking to shoot some nice footage for your holidays, or you're a content creator who's just starting out, this little setup would be more than enough. That said, the memory space on an iPhone can be limited, especially if you're planning to shoot in 4K. And I also kind of needed my Google Maps as I was navigating my way through foreign cities. And that is why I eventually upgraded to a Sony ZV1, which is what I'm actually using to film this right now. It was what a lot of the YouTube gurus on YouTube were recommending at that point in time. It really does deliver high quality footage, as you can see. It is also below $1,000, which is a rarity in the camera world. And I still use it up to this day, like right now, mainly because I like this little flip screen that allows me to see what the footage is going to look like whilst I'm filming it. And yes, there are gimbals that you can get to go with the Sony ZV1, but given that the camera itself costs, I think, around $700, I was just not willing to shell out that extra $349 for a DJI RS3 mini gimbal. Cost aside, the whole setup would just be too clunky for me to travel around with. And that, my friends, is how I ended up with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. In short, if you can't be bothered to watch to the end, this is the camera I recommend you get. Here are 6 reasons why. The first most obvious reason is the size. You can already film videos in 4K quality footage when it's in this setup, but even with the extended battery clip, it's still really only about this size. In fact, most of the time I prefer it in this configuration so that it's easier to locate in my bag when I need to pull it out to shoot something. It also packs quite a punch for something that is of this size. In summary, it basically combines a camera that's fully capable of shooting 4K quality footage and an inbuilt gimbal so that you don't have to worry about the shaky footage that we were talking about, and it will also save you from having to carry video equipment that looks like this when you're traveling. Camera also allows you to film vertical and horizontal footage. So vertical footage, and if you want to film horizontal footage, you just flip the camera around and voila. One of my favorite features on this camera though is the facial recognition feature that allows you to capture footage like this, where the camera follows you as you move around, making it look like you've got a cameraman with you. And just bringing it right back to the topic of space, the memory space on an iPhone is limited. The memory space on an Insta360 is limited, but on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, you can actually bring several of these SD cards with you. And so in the event that you run out of filming space, you simply replace the SD card with a new one and you can continue filming. Combining the camera with the battery clip basically gives it enough juice for me to film for an entire day. But in the rare event that I do run out of battery power, what I do is I will just take this out and I can actually charge the battery clip separately using my mobile charger while still leaving the camera itself free for me to continue filming. The camera also comes with an inbuilt microphone, which honestly most of the time does a pretty decent job. But if you're in a very noisy environment and just looking to amp up the volume a little bit, you can also purchase the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 in a creator kit that comes with a little microphone that looks like this, and using it will just give you higher quality audio that gives you more options to manipulate when you're editing. And if by this stage you're thinking, yes, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the camera for me, that's what I'm going to be getting, well, here are a few accessories that I use with it as a solo traveler. The most important one would be my gimbal, which can be extended up to this length. Having this around basically allows me to shoot footage that looks like this and also like this when the DJI Osmo is in facial recognition mode. Of course, setting up a tripod isn't always possible, so I also have this little contraption that attaches to the DJI Osmo like so. This surface here is magnetic, making this camera now attachable to anything metal. Of course, not every surface is magnetic, which is why I got this gadget as well that actually has a suction to it, making it attachable to most smooth surfaces. This last one is my third option if neither the magnetic or the suction cups work. It is actually an accessory that came with the Insta360, and even though I no longer use the Insta360, I actually still use this gadget a lot because it actually has like a little sticky surface here that attaches to most surfaces, and this part here is magnetic, making it attachable to my DJI Osmo like so. And I also looked up similar devices on Amazon and I think I found a few. And those 3 camera setups that I've mentioned so so far in this video is where most of the footage that you will see on my Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube have been filmed. But I've also recently acquired the cheapest drone that DJI has to offer. This is the DJI Neo. I believe it's $199. And given the price and the size of it all, it actually delivers pretty decent footage. I personally think that this poor little thing did quite well, as I made it shoot content in rain, snow, and really strong winds. Now, do you need this as a beginner? Absolutely not. But if you're like me and want to start experimenting with some drones before justifying investing in a more expensive drone, this is it. I do hope that you found value in today's video, and if you have, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good things that you know are gonna appease those holy YouTube algorithm gods, but much more importantly, will just make my day as a content creator. And if you got to this point of the video, 50 points to Gryffindor for you. And as always, I hope that you have a fantastic day ahead, or that you've already had a good day. I will see you real soon in the next video. Ciao!